Do you know what this is? It's potash. It's one of the 3 key ingredients to produce fertilizers. Put simply, without potash, our planet wouldn't be able to produce as much food as it currently does, and Canada is the #1 producer of this resource worldwide. That's because the world's largest potash deposit is in Saskatchewan. However, this deposit goes all the way into Manitoba. And this behind me is the province's first potash mine, PADCOM in Harrowby. Last month, PADCOM entered into its commissioning phase, which is the last phase before it can bring its product to market. Its very small size is one way PADCOM sets itself apart from other mines. It has 17 employees and a 2 square kilometer footprint. This minimal footprint can partly be explained by the method PADCOM uses to extract potash from the ground, solution-based mining. PADCOM's CEO, Brian Clifford, explains.
I'll explain it simply. So what we have is basically a liquid or water at 0 degrees. We make sure it's fully saturated in salt. We then heat that 0 degree fully saturated brine to 40 degrees. We send it underground.
So the brine is sent 825 meters underground, where potash is mixed with salt and clay. That's actually what gives it its reddish tint. And since the brine is saturated with salt, it only absorbs the potash, bringing then only the brine and the potash up to the surface. Salt stays underground rather than being brought up to surface and forming those giant pink piles we often associate with potash mining.
So one of our key mantras is to leave as much of the salt underground as we can. The other difference is a lot of the competitors in a solution space use lakes where they're exposed to evaporation and the like. We actually effectively bring our cooling into the process, so our lakes are effectively wrapped around the crystallizers. Then again, we'll cool that down from 40 degrees back to 0, so we'd actually get a solid buildup in the bottom of the crystallizers. Then we start what we call the dewatering process. So those solids enter into a cyclone, shaves off the water, spits out the predominantly solid material. Those solids then enter a centrifuge, and they should be reduced down to about 3 to 5% moisture, which will enter the final stage of drying, which is a dry. The potash then comes out of here at a 0.5% moisture. After the drying room, we have a saleable product.
On top of being a tiny mine, PADCOM is entirely locally owned. 20% of the mine is owned by the Gambler First Nation, which makes it all the more unique.